All right, Miles, it's time once again to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. And look, there's a lot of conversation around the Steelers football team, and nearly all of it has to go with who's calling plays, who's coordinating this offense. And look, there's a lot of commentary going on from Steelers Nation. We get it all the time with the videos we do. And Miles, you've done some research and did some interesting thoughts on who should be their play caller going forward. We can all agree it's not going to be Matt Canada, or at least it shouldn't be. Hopefully, there's a firing any day now. Who knows what Tomlin's doing? But you've got some story on what could be the next play caller and why that would be an awesome move for the Steelers. Before I hand it over to you, Miles, we want to hear from the Steelers in the comment section below. Look, the season didn't exactly start the way you wanted it to, but there have been some bright spots, some new additions, some young guys have made an impact so far. So let us know who at this point you think is the best addition to this 2022 Pittsburgh Steelers. Who do you think is coming and giving you some hope potentially for the future? Let us know in the comment section below. Of course, this hope is predicated on getting a new play caller running the offense. And with that, I hand it over to you, Miles. What do you have out of Pittsburgh?
Yeah, Nick, a play caller who I believe would give the Steelers a bunch of hope is none other than former quarterback Ben Roethlisberger. Obviously, last week we posted a video. In the comments, we asked, who do you want to be the offensive coordinator? There's an overwhelming outpouring of people saying Ben Roethlisberger should be the coordinator. He called his own plays, etc., etc. And Nick, I think he was listening because on his podcast, Footballin', he made a statement over November 4th over the weekend and talked about how he would call the Steelers offense if he was the coordinator. Obviously it wasn't like a deep in-depth thought, but he said, if I was a coordinator, we'd be taking shots first, second, and third down. We've got nothing to lose at this point. Let's try to build some confidence in our young quarterback, get the plays downfield. He's like anything, even 10 plus yards down the field, everything would be just taking shots all the time. And, I think he brings an air of confidence, excitement. I think the Steelers fans could really rally around him. The players could rally around him. And I think there is some precedent for a former player to come in and become a coordinator. And I'm going to let you talk about that in just a minute, Nick. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I just want to say, listening to Big Ben's comments there, it's clear he already knows so much more about running an offense than Matt Canada.
Oh, yeah.
I think just with that comment alone, he's obviously more prepared than Matt Canada compared to what we've seen from Canada. So yeah, why not? Right.
Yeah. And, we talk about Ben calling his own plays. And I think he was talking about the 2015 season in particular. And he goes on to talk about in 2-minute drills, no huddle, 99% of the time, he was picking all of his own plays, Nick. And I want to show the precedent there that he knows what he's doing because that was Ben's highest graded PFF year ever, a 91.9 overall or 91.1 overall grade, a 90.4 passing grade. These are like off the charts numbers by him. He threw for almost 4,000 yards, 21 touchdowns. So this was a year where Ben was really shining, and it was a year that, by his own word, he was calling a lot of his own plays in key situations. So he knows what he's doing, Nick. And like we said, there's a precedent for former quarterbacks to come in and become offensive coordinators. And I'm going to let you kind of talk about that a little bit.
Well, right. So, I mean, I think there's a couple obvious ones. Obviously, what O'Connell was doing in Minnesota right now, former NFL quarterback, he's kind of revitalized Kirk Cousins. He's using Justin Jefferson because I think that's the biggest complaint we're seeing out of Pittsburgh right now is the fact that you have just an absolute weapon, like a powerhouse in George Pickens that is just ready to be unleashed like a wrecking ball onto the National Football League. But Matt Canada has stubbornly refused to use him in the extent that he should. It's been incredibly frustrating for anyone who's a football fan, especially for any Steelers fans out there, just to see Matt Canada continue to underutilize George Pickens. That's why I mentioned that Big Ben already knows more than Canada, because at least giving 3 deep shots to Pickens every drive would at least be better than what they're doing right now with Canada's offense and really not giving them as many opportunities to be successful. So again, Kevin O'Connell's kind of revitalized Justin Jefferson even more in that offense. Obviously, the Vikings have one loss, their top contender, but it doesn't end there. Kellen Moore in Dallas has kind of turned Dak Prescott's career around. There's a long period of time where people are like, well, Dak game manager, it's that running game. Kellen Moore goes there, kind of revitalizes it after his playing days, and suddenly they're a high-flying offense. Dak Prescott's putting up all kind of yards. And who can forget Byron Leftwich over in Tampa Bay, what he's done with Tom Brady. He's potentially going to be a head coach probably very soon in his own right, like another strong offensive mind, long time in full quarterback as well. So again, it is not unprecedented to see NFL quarterbacks come in, become offensive coordinators, and do an outstanding job, especially in an NFL day and age where you need an offensive coordinator who understands what a quarterback does well and puts them in positions to be successful. That's what we get out of Leftwich in Tampa. That's what we get out of Moore in Dallas. That's what O'Connell in Minnesota is doing. And right now, Canada just doesn't get it. Canada was a guy that, according to the research I did, maybe I'm wrong here, people can correct me, he didn't play past high school, right? This guy's been a career coach. Doesn't mean he's a bad coach. He obviously knows a little bit about football to get up to this point in his NFL career. The reality is he does not understand, whether it's Pickett or Trubisky or whoever it is, what the quarterback needs behind center. We saw it with Roethlisberger at the end of his career, and now we're seeing it now with Pickett. And so a guy like Roethlisberger, that's why I love the fit, because no one understands what Kenny Pickett is going through better than Roethlisberger. You mentioned Roethlisberger calling his own plays. He can keep doing it here, calling his plays from the sideline, giving Pickett all the tools to be successful. And it just seems like it's too perfect. Seems like Big Ben wants to be involved. Seems like the Steelers want Big Ben to be involved. And it almost makes too much sense. It's one of those things that you really wish could happen, because I think the results would be phenomenal.
Yeah, Nick. And the last point that I want to leave us with is, when Big Ben, if he ever comes and takes this job as offensive coordinator, I think he's going to bring 3 key things to this offense. He's going to bring swagger, he's going to bring confidence, and he's going to bring a lot of hope. And that's really important. You can get a team behind hope, and I think people are going to want to play for a legend from Pittsburgh like Ben Roethlisberger.